Good morning, students. Welcome to my sociology class. So, students, the change in agrarian society from the chapter. Today, I am going to discuss about some of the important questions with answers. So, from this chapter, we have learned land reforms and the various reasons for change in rural society, green revolution, globalization, liberalization, commercialization of labor, and the change of rural society. So my first question is national policy to carry out land reforms after independence. In India, some of the national policies to carry out land reforms after independence. What the policy measures actually? Today we will discuss about it. Land reforms as a result of land reforms or as a consequence of land reforms. Number one, we have already learned that the abolition of Jamindari system. What is this? The government made efforts to establish a own hand and to abolish intermediaries. The Jamindari system, Mahalwari system, Raitwari system were abolished. So students, I want to guide you that whenever we will face that kind of questions like discuss the strategy adopted as part of the national policy to carry out land reforms after independence or give reasons, that kind of questions, please you make answer with the points. On the basis of points, you can elaborate it easily. So number one, I said that abolition of Jamindari system. Number two, land ceiling. A restriction was put on the land that could be owned by a person and the extra land was distributed among the landless laborers. Okay, that is a land ceiling act. Next point, consolidation of land. What does it mean? Scattered landholding were consolidated to facilitate better implementation of new techniques and equipments. As a result of land reform and as a result of green revolutions, new high yielding variety seeds, higher doses fertilizers and agricultural inputs like the pesticides, irrigation facilities, etc. So the land, if the land is scattered, then the land should be consolidated to facilitate better implementation of new techniques and equipments. That is known as consolidation of land. Next one, that is tenancy reform. Reformers were made a tenancy right to protect the cultivators. They included giving protection of tenure, tenancy and giving rights of buying to the tenants. This is tenancy reform. And last one, that is the land reforms. They were made to protect the land from different kinds of misuse. So students, I have said 5 points: abolition of Jamindari system, land selling, consolidation of land, tenancy reform, and last one, land reform. So in this way you have to write the answer. I hope you understood. So national policy to carry out land reforms after independence, all are the results. Okay, let's start with another questions. The question is, second question, discuss in detail the socio-economic consequences of Green Revolution. So question is, discuss in detail the socio-economic consequences of Green Revolution. These questions also you have to write the answer through points. Socio-economic consequences of Green Revolution means, number one, in these questions we will see the good effects of Green Revolution. Number one, betterment of farmer status. Students, if you want, you can write the points also now. Number one, betterment of farmers' status. What is this? Due to better facilities, I hope you know, the status and income of farmers has improved. Right? Farmers are no longer landless or agricultural labor in most part of India. They own some piece of land and work on it. Okay? So number one, betterment of farmer status. Green Revolution made it. Next, economic development. What is economic development? Due to modern scientific techniques, farmers have been able to increase production. You know well, that is the use of high yielding variety seeds, irrigation facilities, fertilizer, pesticides. All these agricultural inputs helps to increase production and earn more by selling their crops in the market. Right? This had led to better quality and quantity in agricultural and also an economic benefit for the country. Okay? Next, increased productivity and self-sufficiency. Increased productivity. If you are using various high yielding variety seeds with the other agricultural inputs, so it is very hopeful that the production will be increased. The Green Revolution led to increase in the per hectare yield of most crops due to better techniques and better equipments. Next point, uneven distribution of income. Not all farmers have benefited in same degree. The middle class peasants have benefited the most. Some regions have not gained much due to Green Revolution, so they are still backward. That's why we said that the richer become more richer and the poorer become the more poorer. So the advantages of Green Revolution were restricted to Punjab, Haryana, Madhya Pradesh, Kerala, and most of the eastern and southern states were neglected. As an effect of Green Revolution, next point, that is rise of new classes. Okay, many few classes have arisen due to the Green Revolution. On seeing the increased profitability of agriculture, many people from different background invest in agriculture. We heard the term already in our chapter when we discussed it, that the commercialization of agriculture, commercialization of labor, these led to the rise of gentleman farmers and capitalist farmers. Okay, next change, new agriculture social setup. Last point and sixth point, that is new agriculture social setup. Earlier only agrarian classes were there, maybe the Kishans or Maliks, Majdoor, etc. But now the traditional landlords have been abolished because of the contract farming, because of the commercialization of the farming. Green Revolution aimed to improve, or Green Revolution aimed to helps of the less privileged and marginal farmers. So this is the total answer of the questions, that is the socio-economic consequences of Green Revolution. Students, I hope you understood. So next we can now discuss another questions. The question is, our next question is, farmer suicide have become matrix event. So now you having a question, what is matrix events? Let us see. The statement means a range of factors merge together to form an event. Many of the farmers who have committed suicide were the marginal farmers and the landless farmers and the daily wage laborers who were attempting to increase their productivity primarily by practicing Green Revolution methods. I hope you know the Green Revolution methods, that is the high yielding variety seeds, high doses of fertilizers, pesticides, new techniques, irrigation facilities, etc. etc. Undertaking such production meant facing several risks. That is, the cost of production has increased tremendously. Due to a decrease in agricultural subsidies, the market are not stable, right? And many farmers borrow heavily in order to invest in expensive inputs and improve their production. But suddenly the loss of crop for different reason, due to the spread of diseases or due to the excessive rainfall, due to the variation of monsoons or drought. These are the reasons for the loss of crop. And in some cases, the lack of an adequate support or market price means that farmers are unable to bear the burden or sustain their families. Farmers doesn't mean he is only a farmer, he having his family also. Means that farmers are unable to bear the burden to sustain their families or sustain his livelihood. Such distress is compounded by the changing culture in rural areas, in which increased income are required for marriages, dowries, and to sustain new activities such as education, such as communication, such as medical care. So all these are merged pressure for a farmer, that is known as the matrix events. So students, farmer suicide nowadays still we are listening that farmer suicide still are present, but the actual reason is that the pressures of different types of pressure over the farmers, maybe the crop failure, or maybe due to the date, or due to the risk factor. Okay, understood? So we can proceed to the next question. Our next question is, what is contract farming? Contract farming. What is contract farming? The question, I hope question should be 6 marks. In contract farming, the company identifies, company means the multinational companies, MNCs, identifies the crop to be grown, provides the seeds and other inputs as well as the know-how and capital. In return, the farmer is assured of a market because the company guarantees that it will purchase the produce at a predetermined fixed price. So what do you think, students? So farmers are fully dependent on the companies. They actually forgot what is the traditional farming because of pressure of the MNCs. Now, while contract farming appears to provide financial security to farmers, it can also lead to greater insecurity among the farmers. Why? Because the farmers become dependent on these companies for their livelihood. I just told you. Contract farming for export oriented products such as the potatoes, tomatoes, different kinds of flowers also means that agricultural land is diverted away from the food grain production. What we heard that the farmers are generally used to um, produce or cultivate rice, grains, maize, corn or different kinds of pulses, etc. But nowadays they are thinking or their production items are different. That's why contract farming consolidate many people from the production process and makes their own indigenous knowledge of agriculture irrelevant. In addition, contract farming caters primarily to the production of elite items, and because it usually requires high doses of fertilizers. So, as a use of high doses of fertilizers, the land became valueless. It lost its fertility. So, it affects our ecology. So these are the contract farming. When the MNCs, they are purchase the farmer, no, you have to produce the goods, and the MNC will purchase the products at a predetermined fixed price. This is known as contract farming. I hope you understood, student. Next question, our next question, how liberalization, globalization and rural society has influenced agriculture in India. Of course, globalization, liberalization and green revolution, land reforms, all these things have a good impact on society, basically for the rural society. The policy of liberalization entails participation in the World Trade Organization WTO, which aim to bring about a more free international trading system and requires the opening of Indian markets to imports. It's a point from liberalization. Another thing, after decades of state support and protect market, okay, Indian farmers have been exposed to competition from the global market. For example, there has been an increase in the imports of fruits and other food items. India has also decided to import wheat like this. In some regions such as Punjab, Haryana, Karnataka, farmers enter into contracts with, I said you that the multinational companies, MNCs, to grow certain crops which the companies buy from them for processing or export. Multinational have now entered into the agriculture sector as seller of seeds. They are selling the seeds, pesticides also, fertilizers. Over the year, government has scale down its agriculture development programs, and agriculture extension agents have been replaced by agents of seeds or cultivation practice and have interest in selling their products. This has led to the increased dependence of farmers on expensive fertilizers. Farmers are dependent on the expensive fertilizers, expensive pesticides. So, which have reduced their profit because they are giving more money for the agricultural inputs. This shows that the agriculture is becoming a complicated process. The state support for agriculture has declined substantially. Why? In addition, agricultural issues are no longer key public issues, and lack of mobilization means that agriculturalists are unable to form powerful pressure group that can influence policy making in their favor. So the farmers are directly contact with the MNC. MNC companies are giving them the seeds, and the farmers are fully dependent on them. So in these questions we can easily see that the change of the farming system after the globalization and the liberalization. So students, from the change of rural society chapter, we have finished our chapter, and today I have discussed most of the important questions. So now please go through the chapter and read all the questions and answer whatever I have given. That's all for today.